Well, hey there, ya hosers. We talk a lot about superheroes on this channel, and we've discussed a bunch of the coolest heroes with awesome powers. But there are a lot of heroes that were dealt kind of a crappy hand in terms of powers. Sometimes they're just straight up useless, sometimes they're just outclassed by other powers, sometimes they turn you into a street. Yeah, look forward to that. Anyway, I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie with Top 10 Nerd, and here is my list of the top 10 most useless superpowers of all time. Number 10. Now, I'll take a step away from comic books with this one. Half the powers from the show Misfits are just awful. I don't know if you watch this, but it's a really great British show about young adults who get random powers after a strange storm. Some of them are great for sure, like time travel and invisibility, but others are less great. For example, one of the main characters is given the power that any guy she touches has an irresistible urge to have sex with her, which she gets tired of pretty quickly. Or one guy who ends up killing a bunch of people has complete power over dairy products. If you haven't watched the show, you should, not just for the plethora of useless powers, but because it's a super funny show. And don't be sad when Nathan leaves, Rudy is really great too, seriously. Okay, I'll stick with comic books from now on, I just need to do a shameless plug for Misfits because not enough people know about it. Number 9. Doorman. Doorman is a mutant who has the ability to use the Dark Force dimension to act as a human door to let people go through him to the other side of something. It sounds awesome, right? He's basically a teleporter. Well, not really, because he can only let people through things he's touching. Meaning he can, say, get you into your house if you forgot your keys, but not much else. Any number of heroes can do what he does, either by stealth or by brute force, so he basically does the job of a sledgehammer, but slightly better. While this power does have its use in certain circumstances, there are a ton of powers that could do the same thing, but are useful for other things. Number 8. Black Bolt. Black Bolt has perhaps the most powerful power on this list, but it's so powerful that it becomes terrible. His power is his voice, causing huge shockwaves capable of incredible destruction. This sounds like an awesome power, but like, he can't turn it off. The slightest sound out of him, even just a little grunt in his sleep, is gonna make a big boom. So while he's one strong dude with a pretty crazy power, he basically lives in fear of accidentally making it sound, which is pretty lame. Number 7. Red Bee. Red Bee fought crime with a stinger gun and a group of trained bees. His favorite bee is named Michael. While technically without superpowers, I would argue that the ability to train bees as well as he did requires a certain amount of power, or at least comic magic. However, I feel like there are any number of things that would be easier to train and more effective in combat than bees. Number 6. Danny the Street. Danny the Street is named Danny, and he is a street. Yep. He's named after the drag queen Danny LaRue, since LaRue is French for the street. Traveling around the world to comfort and help those who need it, Danny the Street communicates through various banners, signs, and graffiti on the street / him. This power does end up being somewhat useful, especially when he grows to the size of a planet, but honestly I think the benefits are outweighed by the drawback of being a street. Number 5. Doll Man. Doll Man is basically a way worse Ant-Man in that he can shrink and grow, but he can only shrink to about 6 inches and he can't grow any bigger than normal size. While he does keep his own strength when he's 6 inches tall, it isn't really an advantage because he loses a bunch of reach. Like when Ant-Man shrinks, he gets super small and hard to see, but shrinking to 6 inches is still super visible and you can just get smushed. The only perk is that he's able to ride a Great Dane to get around, which would be awesome. Number 4. Matter Eater Lad. From the planet Bismol. I did not make that up. Matter Eater Lad, like the rest of the people from his planet, has the ability to eat anything. This is an ability that his people evolved when all food on the planet was rendered inedible. While this is certainly useful for someone on a planet with nothing edible, as a superpower it's pretty much useless. Oh, he can eat through the door! You know what else does that? An axe. Or a foot. And that way you don't have to eat the stuff. The only good thing about it is he's a pretty cheap date. You could split the dish. You eat the food, he eats the plate. Just don't expect him to save the day because he's kinda crap. Number 3. Infectious Lass. As her name would suggest, Infectious Lass has the power to infect those around her with all sorts of diseases. This is because she comes from the planet Somathur, where diseases are rather prevalent even though the people on the planet are immune. Basically, she carries a bunch of diseases that she's immune to, but the people of Earth are not. Which would be awesome if she was a supervillain, but she's a good guy, which is pretty sad because it means she needs to stay far away from other people. She's actually accidentally infected people in the past, so she's really worried about doing it anymore. And this power is not only useless, but it's incredibly detrimental and it basically ruins her life. Number 2. Beak. Beak was a mutant in the X-Men comics, whose mutations just made him straight up worse. It totally messed up his face, giving him a weird vulture face. It made his bones hollow, which would make him weaker but give him the ability to fly, but his wings don't work properly, so he's basically just a weird looking guy whose bones will snap if you look at them wrong. Such superpower, much wow, so amazed. Number 1. Color Kid. Color Kid is a member of the Legion of Substitute Heroes, and he is the definition of a superhero with a useless power. After being hit by an extra-dimensional ray, Color Kid gained the ability to change the color of things. Yeah, I'm not really sure what else to say about this. He's awful. Sure, there are times when this could be useful, like if you run out of color ink in your printer, but I cannot believe Color Kid is a thing. That's it for today. There are tons of useless powers, so if you want more, I would be happy to do more of these lists. If you like this video, please like and subscribe below, and let me know your favorite terrible superpower in the comments below. If you want to say hi, hit me up on Twitter at Ron_Mackenzie_, or check out my YouTube channel for random videos. It's just my name. In the meantime, I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie. With Top 10 Nerd. Later, nerds.